Wow, that is amazing.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Lunch Hour VR. I am your host, Max Noir, and I'm here with my co-host, Edwin Rogers. And today we have a very special guest, Daniel Trujillo. Thanks so much for being here. He is a professional skateboarder. He does fractal animations, AR, VR, a whole bunch of different stuff. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So could you tell us a little bit about what you're doing and like some of the things that we saw in that amazing demo reel?
So that demo reel starts with actually the first AR thing that I ever did, which was, using Vuforia, what's really simple, just image target recognition. Obviously, the natural step from there is to copy the movie They Live, where everyone sees like, this is your God on the money. And but then it goes in, actually the music I generated using Google's MuseNet, the neural network that generates and composes music. And then there's a lot crammed into that. So a whole bunch of like Magic Leap experiences and, using hand tracking and some of the stuff that's like mesh deformations of the world. So how they have the prism thing where, it basically builds a mesh of the world. Using shaders to like deform that to sort of imply like hallucinatory type situations, and some stuff with the Nreal, and actually using my phone because I had to figure out a way to get Nebula on my phone because it's still only available in Korea and Japan and stuff. But then there's a bunch of like neural network generated imagery, such as like just regular like deep faking, where there was the George Clooney's face.
That's what I was going to ask about.
So I was using neural networks to deep fake George Clooney onto Boris Johnson, and that doesn't make any sense, but that's who was chosen. And
it looked awesome though. and
then using NVIDIA's Galgan to generate like the landscapes and stuff that you saw. There were like morphing landscapes, and I'm trying to think what else was in there. But and then some like 360 video and stuff like that. And then 2 volumetric music videos that I worked on, like snippets from those.
Yeah, I like the 360 kind of like reframing of the volumetric stage in the green screen all around. I like that. It's just really very unique. I was, very cool. Hats off. You've done a lot of work. Which one is what's your favorite piece of those projects?
I'd say my favorite. It's a really tough one to say, but if I had to choose, it might be, there was a clip of like someone in VR wearing like a Vive headset, and then it like was bouncing back and forth between person wearing a Vive and like a volumetric music video, because that was a demo of a online concert experience, fully volumetric instead of like, Fortnite where it was flat up in the air and stuff.
Exactly.
What was that like camera rig that you were wearing on your face at one point?
Oh yes, that's a good thing. That was so you might have seen or at least heard of a movie called Hardcore Henry, and they made a similar rig with GoPros on it, but this was used. That's for filming 180 VR, so it's like POV 180 VR, and it's got a electronic gimbal on it, so it's stabilized and stuff and not all shaky, so you don't have to do the stabilization in post. And you can film, POV, like doing whatever kind of stuff, like fighting people or whatever. I never really did much with it. It was a demo I developed for someone, and that was right before COVID hit, so it just sort of, the project collapsed. And
I called for some POV work, and they wanted 8K POV, and I was trying to figure out how you have to create something custom to create something like that.
Yeah, that I think it ended up being like 5.6K or like 2
That's pretty
point
good.
something per eye.
Is the camera the fuse? That fuse, the one that snaps open?
It's the Insta360 Evo.
Evo, yes. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Interesting.
It's one of the few Insta360 I don't have.
You have everything,
I
almost.
have a lot of them. I
Except
have
for
a lot of those.
very important cameras from FXG. And
Yes.
speaking of that, I'm going to take this opportunity to do some light housekeeping and just say that this show is now powered by FXG, which I'm super excited about. And I'm going to show a quick clip about our new 180 VR camera. And if anyone watching is interested in this camera, our pre-order system is going to start soon. So feel free to message me on Twitter or anywhere else, and we'll get you on that list. So here it is. Cool.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean it's a 180 360. I'm sorry, 180 camera, right?
Yeah, correct.
Stereoscopic 180 camera. I mean you see the detail in the hair. It's like really. I mean, FXG makes extremely good 360 cameras with amazing quality. So wow, I'm excited to get my hands on that. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, you're one of the first people on the list, Edwin.
I feel
Okay.
special. I feel special.
You're special. Okay, real quick, I also just wanted to say that I'm currently in Mexico City and the power goes out all the time. You may notice that it's a little bit dark where I am because the power is currently out. I have 17% battery on my laptop. So if I pop out randomly at any time, you are in very good hands with Edwin and Dan. And lastly, just remember for those of you watching, if you pop a comment into the comment box, we will be able to see it. We'll be able to pop it up on the screen, and you can feel free to ask Daniel any questions that you may have.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's check out the next project that you are working on, this fractal project, and see what that is all about. Let's take a look. Cool.
well, thank you. I wouldn't quite call that a project that I was working on. It's really just sort of like a side hobby because I'm always like doing stuff with film, and because I actually have a full-length movie that I filmed in Costa Rica in 2017, and I used a bunch of like neural network, what they would call back then, or like a lot of people called it, deep dreaming, because Google had their own specific branch of artistic style transfer that just made things look insane. So I used artistic style transfer in that movie and some fractal stuff. such as that, like using Mandelbulber and Mandelbulb 3D to produce those animations, and a little bit of Blender too. So that was just, that specifically, that video is just like an animation I made trying to figure this stuff out.
Wow. It's just practice. Just playing around, huh? It's amazing. Yeah. And yeah, how long did it take you to create this amazing piece?
Assuming the program doesn't crash, you know, just taking that out of the mix because I kept running into that issue. It's so it's like you either take some formulas to generate the Mandelbulbs, because it's all based on like a formulaic thing using fractal geometry, and it's just like one formula with like parameters tweaked generates these incredibly complex but simple, you know, semi-natural looking shapes. And so that part doesn't take much time because you just like tweak some parameters. But then, you know, you have to animate the movements of the camera through that, assuming you don't collide with parts of it, because if you tweak the parameters while you're moving, then the whole shape of the thing that you're moving towards changes. So you have to find the balance between the animations of the camera movement and the animations of the bulb. And then the rendering is what takes the longest. And that's like days worth of rendering.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's always like that. But now, I mean, some real-time rendering is coming, and it's making life a lot easier and a lot faster. So where can we just go to your website to see some of these amazing projects?
Yes.
So that would be Daniel J. Trujillo. I'm pronouncing it right? .com? Cool. And we can find you at your handle. It's the same, Daniel J. Trujillo. At Daniel J. Trujillo, right?
Yes, and that's Instagram and Twitter for that same handle. So
great.
And also that's my GitHub handle if you feel like looking into some of the code, because I have some random stuff on GitHub. Like
nice.
Recently was working on like a quantum machine learning stuff, and just, you know, just sort of all over the map with the stuff that I'm trying to learn, you know, because I really like just exploring, and a lot of it's like exploring my mind and figure out what is possible.
Awesome. So do you want to take a look at the next video, which is the engine you were talking about, Mandelbulb?
That'll look, you know, vaguely similar to the one we just watched, but I think that one's a little cooler because the world changes and you get to, like, you know, get into the more fractal type self-similarities with scale, because for those not watching, fractals are shapes and objects that are self-similar on all scales, and that this video demonstrates that a lot more.
Cool. Let's take a look.
That's beautiful.
Mesmerizing. I thought it was like some Mayan temple rendering, but now that you explained what it actually is, I'm like, wow, it's even cooler.
Well, thank you.
Talk.
Huh? Yeah, I like how the use of scale, it just seems like it's getting bigger, but then you're going deeper and smaller, but it's getting bigger at the same time. It's pretty interesting.
I was wondering if you use TikTok, because I feel like that's one of those videos that it's like, you know, people categorize them as like oddly satisfying to watch.
Yeah, see that on loop. Just wow, keep diving deeper into the rabbit hole that just gets bigger and bigger. I love it.
Yeah, I feel like I should at this point make a TikTok, or someone else should, but yeah, I have not touched TikTok yet at this moment.
Like someone's weird comment.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Daniel, I know that you're also a professional skateboarder. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. And if I may, I was going to go on a side tangent about the mandel bulb thing really quick. So the movie that I made that uses that technology in it, I've had people before mention that a lot of the visuals resemble the movie Doctor Strange, and I'd never seen that movie until like 3 days ago. And now that I see it, I'm like, wow, they really did do a bunch of the same stuff, like using fractals and everything with visual effects. So, which came out the same year that I filmed and edited that movie. So, these comments are weird. Sorry.
Yeah. I got to turn the Twitch commenting off from now on. It's funny.
Yeah. So on the skateboarding thing, so yeah, I've been skateboarding since 1996, and in like 2003, I ended up discovering a really specific niche of skateboarding, and it's called freestyle, and it's similar to like breakdancing or gymnastics, sort of combined, you know, or figure skating, and so it's like just you and the board and no other obstacles. And so I got really heavily obsessed with that. And then from there, I ended up competing a lot and became a professional. And now, since there's just little kids all over the planet that are way better than me or any of my friends my age could ever dream of being, me and one of the champions of the world started a company called Waltz Skateboarding, and that's what I'm working on mostly now. And actually on our website, waltzskateboarding.com, we have a Google model viewer to where you can view models of the objects in browser or in the real world using, you know, some simple web AR, or it might not be the proper terminology, but web-based AR to view the models, which, back to the skateboarding, yes, that's what I do in my free time. And it's sort of what helps me, like, you know, relax and vent and blow off steam and all that.
Very cool. I was going to ask you if you ever, you know, do anything tech related and, you know, combining it with the skateboarding stuff, but it sounds like you are. Yeah.
And another tech related skateboard stuff that we've done, for prototyping, we've 3D print. So we use an online mold designer to make like prototype molds for the board shapes, and we've using CAD design the wheels and 3D print out prototypes of the wheels and stuff like that to test, you know, tolerances and stuff.
A lot of people are doing that now, testing physical products in virtual environments to make manufacturing much more smooth, and using AI to do that as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I really want to get into is doing generative manufacturing or generative design, because some of those things just look amazing. You know, they sort of resemble fractals and stuff with like their organic shapes that they produce, and it's stronger and lighter too on top of that. And
yeah,
one one other tech thing that I've done around skateboarding. I made one of the first things I made on Magic Leap was like a skateboarding game, and it was terrible, so I'm not going to provide any examples of it, but it was really funny looking, and it was skateboarding using the mesh of the world as the obstacles. But like I said, that was when I first started, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So
very cool. Well, we have one more video here that I'd like to play and then hear a little bit about what that is.
Sure.
I would lose my innocence. Fuck the fame, it's innocent.
That was fun.
So that is a music video for a musician named Empty Streets, and I made it. It was, you know, me and him just filmed everything in one day at his hotel room here in Las Vegas, and it uses photogrammetry. Like, I scanned the entire room, which actually I figured out which photogrammetry thing to use because the one I used to use no longer exists, because Lucas had mentioned it in something about how he made his Magic Leap thing, and I was like, okay, reality capture, got it. And so
reality capture is gone?
No, the other thing I used to use is gone.
Oh, I see.
And so used reality capture to do photogrammetry the whole hotel room, and then I used Depth Kit for the volumetric video of the artist, Empty Streets. And then I used a Magic Leap to do some of the visuals that don't appear in that video. And then everything was, you know, through Unity, which is the primary thing I developed with, did a whole bunch of music video stuff in Unity. And also like the morphing of the meshes of the world thing that I had described too.
Yeah, I think a lot of that kind of art should, you know, music videos and virtual production is going to really start taking over with those kinds of, you know, projects, especially now with COVID where you can't travel. Now you could travel virtually anywhere and do all kinds of cool stuff. So what was the volumetric capture stage? Is that in Vegas, or I know there's some in New York and LA, but I haven't heard of any in Vegas. There are not volumetric capture stages in Vegas that I am aware of. That one was in Los Angeles. Yeah,
and I gotta think of what I can say about this. I'm no longer working with them, and as far as I'm aware, the studio no longer exists, or it does exist in some form, and it is vacant at the moment.
I see.
But, yeah, so that's all I know about that. Although I've heard rumors that someone's trying to make one in Vegas. But for now, I'm just using Depth Kit and, you know, Azure Connects and stuff like that for doing, you know, mobile volumetric capture.
Yeah, I have a friend who's trying to do it in Vegas. We could talk later.
Yeah. And actually, one of the other things that was shown in the demo reel at the very beginning of the video, or the beginning of this stream, was I'd made a like portable volumetric capture camera. This was before iPhones had LiDAR on them and stuff like that. And it was like basically an Intel Nuke strapped to a battery, strapped to a camera cage with the Kinect attached to that, and it weighed like 40 pounds, you know, so it was portable handheld camera, but it's pretty hefty. So it was basically just a computer with a handle on it, because I didn't want to carry a laptop to do it.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I definitely I'm very glad that now, you know, the new iPhones have all these different very, very complicated systems in it that I guess the average person might not use, but for us it is a toy opening box.
So we're unfortunately reaching the end of this, but I do know that you recently started working with a new company. If you want to sort of tell us about what's going on with that.
I did, and they're called Emmersive Entertainment, and they're, I wouldn't quite say operating in dark mode, but they're basically in dark mode right now, so I can't say a whole lot other than the fact that we're developing immersive show concert type experiences, whether that's from being in browser to VR to possibly AR in the future. And it's that's basically all I can say about it. Other than
coming soon, and it's gonna be great.
Soon, and it's gonna be virtual concert type experiences.
Awesome, that's pretty exciting, and I definitely love the idea. I mean, I think it would, like Unreal Engine and Fortnite did concerts with millions of people able to attend. Well, you can't do that in reality, but in virtual reality, we can do more. So, again, thank you so much for being on and answering all the questions and showcasing your amazing work.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Thank you so much. And just a reminder, everybody, you can find Daniel on most major social media platforms at this handle here. Also, be sure to check out his website at danieljtrujillo.com. Bam, bam. I'm so happy that my computer didn't die, guys. I'm on 4%. Go Max. Lastly, I have to plug it because I have to plug it. Guys, this is my Patreon. Please consider becoming a patron. We do the show semi-inconsistently, but mostly consistently every Thursday. And I wanted to say thank you. We just got our very, very first $100 Patreon. That money is going to go straight to covering our StreamYard monthly costs and also some social media costs involved in that. So please consider supporting so we can continue to up the production value of our wonderful show here. So thanks for letting me vent about that. And Daniel, it has been a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do in the future.
It's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you both for having me.
All right. Have a good one. Thank you.